Okay, so let's start off with going back over what we covered during the first class. Um, it was this upstroke where you're just barely allowing the nib to touch the paper. And so you're not pressing at all. You start in the middle of the rectangle and head up to about the halfway point and end up parallel to the slant line on the slant line. So these are your upstrokes. They're going to be really very thin. There's no pressure on it at all. The next thing we did was go from left to right to draw in the square top on the downstroke, and then you're going to press a little bit. And what that does is, let me just draw the pen nib has a split down the middle, and when you put pressure on, you end up with the nib coming apart, and then this is where the ink goes to give us that thick the downstroke where there's a heaviness. So we come across here, we want square tops and square bottoms. The square top you draw in and then press and come down, and then you pause a second at the bottom to let the ink flow between the halves of the pen. And then we went to square top, come down here, release, and come around to do this first stroke that's going to become a U. And release your pressure at about 2/3 of the way down. And then curve and back up, so that this is the bottoms. When you turn this corner, that's going to be a hairline. Then after that, we did the same thing, but upside down. We went up. It's kind of like the St. Louis arch. When you turn the corner up here at the top, then you put the pressure on and come down, and you have a square bottom. So it goes up parallel to the slant line and down parallel to the slant line. And you want good contrast between your hairlines and your thicks or your swells. And then the last thing that we got to during this first class was an up, down, up. Again, at the top and the bottom, these are going to be hairlines. So that's one of the things that makes for a very beautiful script. The other thing I want to point out is that every single letter starts and ends at a line. This is the baseline that all the letters sit on. This is the waistline up here. And that's one of the things that makes Copperplate look so beautiful. Okay, so let's go to the next shape. These are the building blocks of our Copperplate letters. If you want to go back and repeat these, this is a great time to stop the video and practice that. You can stop at any time. You can back up. It's one of the great things about a video. All right, so this next shape we're going to do is the oval. It's going to be the basis of O and a few other letters. And if you see on your paper, I have an arrow there at like 1 o'clock if this were a clock face. So you're going to come up, you're going to go counterclockwise. And there's the swell is from 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock on the clock face. So you're going to start here and end here. You're going to close up this oval here. But it's always going to start at 1 o'clock on the clock face. So what I want you to do is a line of O's, or it's the basic oval shape that will become an O. So I'm going to stop and do at least one line of O's. Okay. Having done that, as you can see, if page 2, we're going to connect these shapes. And this is going to be the basis of the I and the U. We're going to do 5 of this upstroke and the downstroke and come back up and just repeat it. So we're going to do 5 of these. Notice it starts at the baseline, it ends at the waistline, and that's going to make it beautiful. Okay, so I want you to do a line on your sheet. Do 2 lines of this, this shape right here. Okay. Welcome back. Now we're going to do this shape, but we're going to add to it, and we're going to do 5 of these. When you have this St. Louis arch shape, you want to end with a square bottom, pick up your pen, put it back in the wet ink, and do the same thing. You're not going, it's not like cursive, you just keep going. This is, each of these arches are separate. So I want you to do 5 of those. And end, start at the baseline, end at the waistline. Okay. The next shape we're going to do is up, whoops, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And the whole purpose of this is to just give practice. That's eventually going to become Y. We're going to turn that into a Y later on. So practice a couple lines of these up, down, and up. I don't have any fancy names for them. It's just the shape that you need to be able to do. And then we're going to go to the oval and connect the ovals. So we're going to start at O at 1 o'clock, come down and go over, trace it back. This is like ovals that have their hands on each other's shoulders. Okay. That's practically an O right there. So do, as you can see on your paper, 3 lines of these ovals. One of the things that you should be working on is to try to keep them the same distance apart. So you have consistency with the letters. You want them to be parallel to the slant lines and the same distance apart. That's one of the things we're going to be working on the whole time we're doing Copperplate, is to try to get this beautiful consistency of both the slant and the spacing between the strokes. In other words, you don't want to be trying to do this something kind of crazy like that. Nah, don't do that. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is get ready. We're going to get closer and closer to doing letters. We're going to do the same upstroke. Wow, that's ugly. You see how thick that is? Obviously, my pen point picked up some paper fibers, and it's welcome to Copperplate. That's what happens sometimes. Then you wipe it off and start again. Ha ha ha. What is going on? All of a sudden, my pen is not cooperating, and it's super thick. Ick. Well, here's the reality of let's try this again. That's better. Okay, so we're going to come all the way up, scoot over to the right, press, and come down so you have a square top and a square bottom. Up, just like the very first stroke you did. This is your entrance stroke. And so you want to do a line of those. I just discovered that the flange, this gold part here, had gotten loose and it needed to be pulled down, and now it's more secure, and I'm a much happier person. Okay, so as you see on your page 2, I have you do 3 lines of these. Oh, okay. So please do that. 3 lines of that. And then we're going to go to the letter I. So, but do your 3 lines, stop the video, do the practice. And then we're going to go up, over, down. Remember that one that we did right over here? And then draw a little circle. This is the letter I. We actually have a letter that we can do. And so do 3 lines of lowercase I. And yes, we are starting with the lowercase before we get to the uppercase. The vast majority of the words that you're going to be lettering are going to be lowercase. Once in a while, you'll use a capital letter, but we're going to be mainly writing lowercase. Okay. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different forms. and shapes that I've taught you. If I were in the classroom with you, and we got through 7, that would be a really good number. And then you'd have all that practice time, and I would be able to demonstrate those. But it takes a whole lot less time to actually demonstrate it in the video. So I'm going to stop here. And this is class 2. Please pray for me. I have no idea where I'm going to be speaking, feeling, if I'm loopy. I don't know what's going on as you're watching this, but it's a joy to make this video for you. And I hope you are enjoying practicing your copperplate. Take care, and I'll, one way or another, see you next week.